Do you own rental properties and you really want to make sure that you actually get all the deductions that you can get for your rentals? We're going to go over that in this video here. Hello, my name is Tim Kraus with Cornerstone CPA. I'm the operations partner in the business. We do bookkeeping, tax, and tax planning. We have about 70 bookkeeping clients, and about a third of them are real estate professionals. And we do tax for about 400 clients, and about quarter of those have actual rental properties. And we see there's a lot of expenses that people think they can take and can't take in their rentals, and then some that they aren't taking that they actually could take. So we have this little sheet here that we're going to go over that we'll be able to fill out, and there'll be a link to it in the description, and then you'll be able to make sure that you're correctly keeping track of everything for your taxes here. So up at the top here, just really some basic information. Property address, owner's name, that's more or less for you in that scenario. The tax year is helpful. And then the some important ones that might not seem important are going to be the purchase price and the purchase date. That will matter for your depreciation later down the line here. And then this is also a question they have here. Number of days property was used for personal use. This is if you have a property that sometimes you have as rental and sometimes you stay in it personally. And if you did, how many of those days did you actually stay in it personally? So we're going to go into the common deductions here. Big point here with the mortgage interest deduction is that this is just the interest paid. Your entire mortgage payment is not deductible. Your principal amount of your mortgage payment is not deductible. The part that is escrowed and your interest is deductible. And that also then pulls into the property taxes here. Make sure you have your property taxes here. And then we could deduct those. Any sort of insurance. This not only includes your homeowner's insurance that you might have through your escrow company, but this could include other sorts of insurances that might be out of that category as well. And then the depreciation of the property. If you know this, that's fine. You most likely won't. It's way more common for us to have us actually figure out the depreciation. But again, for that, we will need the purchase price and when you purchase the property. And then any repairs and maintenance. These are more small repairs. These are not large sort of improvements that we're going to get to a little bit later. But these are like, fixing a leak, small little things. But these add up, and these are really important. Especially, I grew up, my Opa had 50 doors in Tacoma, and I grew up being a handyman for him when I was like a teenager. And there's definitely a lot that we did in repairs and maintenance on a bunch of C-class properties in Tacoma. Utilities, again, just make sure you claim this one. Professional fees, like fees to accountants, property managers, attorneys, or actually property managers as their own separate one as well, because a lot of people who have rentals have property managers, and that's important to get in there. But all those sort of things you can get deducted as well. Travel expenses, man, we see so many people miss this one. They travel to and from their apartment, and they don't have it actually recorded anywhere. And now there's a couple ways you can do it. There's like large amounts that would be like trips, especially if your rental is out of state. And then there's actually the mileage, which is incredibly common and missed a lot in rentals. And for the mileage, we need the miles driven for business, the make and model year of your car, and when your car was put into service. If you've been driving your car all year for the business, then it would just be January 1st. All right, and then your advertising. If a unit goes up, or if the whole property goes up for lease, I'm sure you advertised it, or if you did, what are the costs? What are the costs of that? And you get to deduct that as well. Home office, this is often applicable. It says if applicable here, but this is very often applicable and very, very, very often missed. There's a section of your house that you have, your boxes of paperwork, and where you do all of your property management or all of your work for your rentals. Make sure to put that in here. We're going to need the total size of your house and the size of your home office in square feet, and then the size of your house. And then if we end up doing this, which is very common, we'll have a few more questions as well, but this will at least get us started. Property management, again, like I said, has its own line item because it's a very common one and very commonly missed. By the way, also, this is so let's say your rent's $500. Your rent's $500, but the property manager takes their fee out. Let's say it's $50 for 10%, and then you only get $450. That $50 property management fee is the fee, even though you only received $450. you actually have you get to deduct that $50 basically with the property manager right there. So cleaning and maintenance, this is especially relevant in short-term rentals, which we'll go into a little bit here, and this will mostly work for short-term rentals as well. If you're doing a short-term rental, there's some additional things that will be done as well. Okay, furnitures and fixtures. This is like new appliances, things like that. These would be ones that would be considered assets inside of the property, and therefore larger pieces that have potentially depreciation schedules that we would have to apply. And then large improvements. This is, yeah, we all know what these are if you have rentals. New HVAC system, a new roof, all those sort of pieces are very large improvements. A whole new set of windows throughout the entire building. Have all that cost, you could add it up and just put it into this actual number right here, or you could even send over some of the documents for the different pieces. Like oftentimes clients will send us the invoices for those large repairs. For the large ones, not for the small ones. We don't need the invoice from your janitor or from your cleaner. All right, and these are potential benefits that may or may not apply, like energy efficient ones. Like some people put certain windows inside of their properties that are energy efficient, or solar panels, and those have extra benefits. And then for that, we will definitely need the paperwork. Please make sure to send the paperwork with that, because we'll have to make sure that it's put in there properly, but also how much did you spend on those expenses. And then if there's any local incentives can be like low-income housing, things like that. What are some of those credits that you're looking at? If not, send over the paperwork for those. And then your short-term rental and adjustments. So short-term rentals in a lot of cities have different taxes, which then you get to then count that tax as an additional thing to claim to help reduce your total income. It also has a nice section for a few notes if you want to write some notes in about additional things that we didn't ask here. And then this is just a guide. This is not like having an actual tax professional. This is just kind of a good starting point. And then when you're complete with this, please send this document, including your mortgage statement and tax forms, to your preparer. And it's also a good idea to keep this for records, just to see how things change year over year. Also, because it's a nice place to have all of your expenses for a particular property. I recommend doing this property by property. That's why we have it just for the property address up here. So if you have this one property, if you want to do them all together on one sheet, you can. Actually, no, you can't, because in the Schedule E, they are divided up. So you have to do it property by property, and then therefore we'll be able to actually do the taxes properly for your rental properties. So that is this overall sheet. Again, there is a link to it in the description. I'm Tim with Cornerstone CPA. Again, we do bookkeeping, tax planning. You have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.